people don't know each other, and yet you have two Cyruses come through poems, like one after the other. And then the train comes through a poem called The Drifter, and it's just like, I don't know. There are magical things underneath it all. Okay. Ian, welcome.
Thank you.
Ian Dreiblatt is going to read next. He is a poet, translator, legal commentator, and musician. His translation of Gogol's The Nose is forthcoming from Melville House Books. And he's currently working on a manuscript of poems conceived in relation to the writing of Osip Mandelstam, and another on the misconduct of the NYPD, that to me sound like they could be the same book. He lives with Anna Gorrick in Sunset Park. Welcome, Ian.
Thanks, Sky. This doesn't move. Thank you all for being here. This is really the most pleasant experience I've ever had, pretty much. This is great. And you all made it snow, which is so nice. Thank you so much, Anne, and thank you, Anna and Tomasz. I am going to read some poems that sort of are in relation to the work of Osip Mandelstam, and I don't think there's too much else that actually needs to be said about them. But sometimes when you hear about an Osip, that is the Osip I mean. And if I do this, it feels like they're in order, but they're not in order. I go from the smolder into the izba, where 6 scorched somethings await that are like real things. It would be good to say to someone, I see you. It would not be good to see you for a long time. Casket means body. People are one kind of thing. You can kill me. She takes out pickled mushrooms. Flower means casket, means body. People think something like this. It would be bad for this to happen to someone. It would be bad for this to happen to me. She draws a hot decoction from the kid's belly button. She feels something good toward me. She says something like this. I want to give you more. I am not smoldering. I feel something bad. To the threshold, to the threshold, to the shoulder she's got a hold of and drags me back to the shoulder, the threshold. She has lice and backwoods, tumultuous quiets, half somnambulist, half just corpse. Nothing, she's good, she's good. People think something like this. There are some things no one can know. It would be good to help someone. I feel good towards someone, and just like them, I am a godmother. Distance comes out of you slowly, breathing to a threshold of failure, payload dissolved into ambient sonorous space, breathing out encircling grammars, catching breath, speak a gash into horizons. Fate of sand, fate of the shape of the river. I'd even get a job for this, jagged course. I'd even envy spills, a second in age. The trees go liquid, you can hear rings of fiber current rushing under the bark. Guess I like thresholds, a lot of thresholds. Osip in the glass city, vowels come over the step now, hunger-tinged, time-tinged, plain where injured is allowed. I think something like, I want something good to happen, I don't know what, I know it can't happen, and because of this I see something. I see light and the moment of falling asleep. Osip in the Philosoppolis, light spills full to the yard's deepest phosphor, inexplicable so far. I feel I need that which doesn't exist in the world. I feel I need that which doesn't exist in the world. I feel I need that which doesn't exist in the world. Osip autonomous in the question, names to the rescue or to slow the horizons of the plural. Let me propose, let me start by saying, there's rain in the street. I know that I know this. I don't say I know. I don't say I think. The sound of the rain, names to the rescue or to slow the horizons of the plural. The scale of rain is human, and I'm grateful. The return of a thought, impossible lectern, where a de-emphasized prototype person girds a patch of void into zero. Here's one about language. Because when you think about it, to yield to an act of reading, open door in the crease of land, daughter-in-law, quarter-lit, chestnut-eyed horse that goes on will like a river. Crease of land, my face is red, rushes crowding the bend, to have such a son is misfortune. To open to an act of reading, receptive daybreak, topaz, syntax holds you under its lip, wide garment, hour wakes and we find we're the bride, Doppler effect, syntax holds you chestnut-eyed, sad as the melting point of sugar, grammar's honeymoon, I reach for the falling cloth, chestnut-eyed, you vacate the stage, you wheeze like a harpsichord. Okay, I'm going to read some more of these. Meanwhile, across the mimetic subdivide, lights go green and a republic faintly discorporates. Vox organum, we sneak into the gallery, Cassiopeia. Can I ask you if the ocean tastes you back or the earth is even important? Flying buttress, golly, voices rising to a bruised plenum. Thanks. That slips past so many borders. Sounds like it makes sense. Sorry. Now this is all fucked. Wait. I'm just gonna go back.
Start from buttress.
Flying buttress, golly. Voices rising to a bruised plenum as robots map the hills being wept by imagined windows. Numb vox, Cassiotone implosion of the singular. Outrageous pixel spray redoubles the parking lot. The vowels have rights. Telephones undulate in the sonic haze. I miss you, the movie's starting. I'm so extremely happy to be here. And this is really, it really means so much. It means so much to me that Robert is here, my teacher from Bard and dear friend and teacher after Bard, and to be reading with Anna, who I'm keen on, and lots of old friends and hopefully new friends or future friends. And I don't know. It's very moving, and it's the snow. It's just so good. This is for Peter Dimmock. It's about the word melody, which means melody. And it's about the hand thing, the 5 fingers. Melos in Greek means limb of the body, your arms are. Origin uncertain. Also in this sense, a phrase within a song, one of its fingers, the way we'd say one of its lines. Eoidoi roaming tattered camps, the poet-singers who, collectively massed into a face-shaped cloud, comprise Homer. Melos and Melos and Melos, grouped into an Eoide, are a melody. The coherence immediately as of a body, a song of limbs, tuning sinews, drawn, impossibly continuous. The code scrambles. What else could melodia have meant? Unhearable subjectivity of a sound. Melody could be malady, a music of the body's antagonized coherence. It could be honey and could be medicine, sung or sipped. Sung could be melody of a cold week. An ethics of remembering, instances of harbor. Ossip said, what Bach, what Mozart does variations on the theme of a nasturtium leaf. The scale for measuring social architecture is a human being. I remember you, and the city of bridges becomes sand, fragments of meaning, tandem gibberish, exceeding all margins, all registers. I remember you up from the ghosted-on city. I remember the receding logics of your presence and leave a language behind in your mouth. Icebridge, cathedral, all that is painful without seeming cause. I'm under the piano, I'm in up to my hair shirt, dovecote at the center of memory, where eagles dare. I remember you, daybreak, topaz, I find an axe handle. We two should fight in a battle, we two should build a boat. It's funny to think that I wrote these. This one, if you know Mandelsam's writing, you might recognize its particularly legible presence in this one. I do a smoky ritual, falling into opal, essence of olive, resounding priority, a pronoun as minerals exposed to weather. Think of this strawberry as a tiny earthling. Hear every language in a carnelian flash, dark voice of daybreak, antic singularity, actually even agate. Spare me the terrible color shit. Entangled meridians of bodily memory erupt into order, tiny omega. Now then, I see you are a sailor. I wasn't actually going to read that. I was going to read this, and then I was happy that I had decided not. I realized I said I was going to read it so that I could enjoy deciding to not read it. But then everybody had King Cyrus in their poems, and I do not have King Cyrus in my poems. But I did just get back from Anne and I both just got back from Jerusalem, which was weird and scary and exultant and depressing. And so I was sort of toying around with a translation of the 137th Psalm, which is the one, if I forget you, Jerusalem, that everybody knows. It's might be invisible in this anyway, but so this is the most recent thing I've been working on, and it's, consider it unfinished. But. And King Cyrus actually isn't even in it, but you know he's sort of the absent ending of it. 1961, Malcolm X on TV, but he looks hungry. Signal fades, angles project ahead to watch it snow thick analog fuzz over. Let my arm forget, let me be all the people in this city. The faucets running, gestures of language vibrate off into permanent luminous pools. Walls of VHS squiggle rise up. A voice bleeds from a sequence of rectangular lights that impersonates a tree. It is our pleasure to serve you. It is already late, our sense of what is happening absconds into figuration. Embarrassed at not knowing Arabic, at naming our parents after the little house on that mountain, the music stops. A rock falls from the sky and we just go crazy for it. Faces coalescing from the high-speed ambient flicker of medium grid and dissipating back into it, which the city does too, arriving as brief rushes of language and then cubing back off into predicament. And as for the ones who brought us here, let knives tear their alphabet, let it rot the mouths of their children, while speech, depolarized as a matter of sovereignty, swells against the contours of absence. Which is hard to read if I write it by hand. A couple more? Probably matters which ones they're in. A window speaks to the mind of snow, to the face, the nowhere directed, the language mine, thing for giving air, meanings that wail into the sun. Use your finger, make an ampersand. Each morning a landscape must describe itself to itself, octave cycling to a shareable horizon. Phases of illumination bulk to a breath, I speak cohering into you. The pronoun is like a field, we get lost. The face you cohere endlessly, dashboard clock, flinty afternoon light, usual sound of the sun on the frost, systems of reference imploding to kiss the tree line. Daybreak over pronoun city. We dig for shelter, you ramify, thick pheasants they named the street for. Nighttime falls over novel city. Systematic coherence, like when you don't know what something is, often it's a kind of soup. Act 1, grays assemble into a Parthenon of what we think is happening. Act 2, mother of pearl. Through the streets, shifting intimacies I find or am found. We are nothing if not recognizable. Ordinacy city, we turn it down. Circus mice, hyacinth, I don't know. It's like a medicine, it moves you inside. Black here, heavy through dark, trans color, trans important, black hair in the mouth, the cave goes running. Everything loosens, everything gives shape to a chorus. There's a will, there's a wave, up to black. The opposite of sharp is coward, like a part of a person. Something bad can happen to you, nothing bad can happen to this thing. A plow runs down your mouth, a crack opens up across your mouth, a bell rings out in your mouth, an accident blooms from your mouth, a taiga extends across your mouth. There is in boundedness something boundless. It is like a part of a person. The opposite of coward is forest. Strata careen into the margins, your mouth and its April, I'm listening. You take a black pill, you ride a spectrum, say hello. Everything mountains, everything listens. If you don't do something, something bad can happen to this. Everything opens its eyes. I am speaking into the pupil. I am jumping into a hole. And I know what it looks like when I see it. This peony is an empty house, this resemblance is an empty house, this morning a break in the ordinariness. Long did I build you, long did I drink verbs in the house of escapes. He thought it a devilish comfortable house, he thought it a house so deep in what was not water. He is sleeping like an almond, the boat he's on espouses sleep. This empty house is an organ on a lifeboat, a pander in the lap of dispersion. We catch the trail, and we don't only forget, we also remember. Thanks a lot.
Thanks everybody for coming. The next Cadmium reading is actually February 8th, and Michaela Horowitz is going to read with Erica Kaufman, so that should be